Let's talk about happiness and how it's mostly an escape and not the fulfilling experience it should be. We often look for happiness as the goal and the meaning for our lives, but we try to get more often than not through avoidance. How you could go through something, could be a challenge, could even be just a small issue with a friend or a family member, even a lover, right? And rather than sitting with the feeling, rather than sitting with the experience. So try and figure it out. Waiting at the feel. Why are the feel the way I feel? What's the best way to react, to this issue? What's the best line of action? Or like I like to ask myself, if not love this thing they happen to, what love could do, right? But instead of doing that, usually we they just zone out using any means, pretty much anything what we fit do to forget say we dey get that experience, to forget say man, we dey experience something where they challenging. We go to and we just distance ourselves from that experience. And this is not usually how we dey handle challenges for the majority of us. Now, in a world where they very fast paced, everybody's on the move, everybody, you know, it's as though they don't set us up in that we are always behind, constantly chasing comfort, constantly chasing balance. We're trying so hard to make all this money. The prices of things are constantly increasing because inflation, global, it's right. And so you're making this X amount of money today. The prices of things they go up. The amount you they make it go up tomorrow. Same tomorrow, price of that same thing go up. So it's this constant rat race. In a world like that, it's quite understandable why it may be helpful, at least in the short term, to constantly throw things to the side, rather than paying attention to them, to really process them and look for the best resolution. It's understandable why most of us will instead just toss it to the side. Could be a relationship, right? Could be a friendship. And I mean, these are things that really matter. At the end of the day, these are the things that do matter. But we know they waste time to just toss these things to the side. 10-year friendships, 10-year relationships. It's the fact that we are looking for money is enough reason to validate the fact that we are tossing it to the side. Right? I get that. But I also know that as people, if we constantly toss things to the side in that manner, where something happens to you that breaks you, you have an issue with a friend, there's a challenge in your life that really touches you at your core. And because you don't want to process it, you toss it to the side and you keep moving. Something else happens, the same thing to the side, you keep moving. Something else happens to the side, you keep moving. Right? And now you have all these different slices in your body, different things that happen. You're carrying all these traumatic experiences with you, unprocessed. They are just there. They're like open wounds, raw. I feel like it's unsustainable. Eventually, you are going to fall apart, bro. I don't know when, I don't know how, but it's unsustainable. Eventually, such a person will fall to pieces. At least that is my observation. The kind of peace that you will get, the kind of happiness that you will get from tossing things to the side constantly without really getting to the bottom of yourself to process, those things where they make you feel bad. That kind of happiness where you get from avoidance, it's very, very fragile. It no go last before long, bro. You're back the same place. Starts to look as though your life now this constant roller coaster of struggle, right? But it could have been easier if the issues were handled as they come, in those small batches, if one comes, if one come, you handle them, another one come, you handle them, two come at a time, you handle them. as opposed to just allowing them pile up to the point where now this very big, overwhelming feeling. You can't have conversations with anyone. You don't have the patience to sit and talk with anyone because your life is, you're on this fast lane. You can't even breathe. You get. As far as what it feels like, that's pretty much it. And as far as what to do about it, I go try my best in these conversations to not really prescribe. Reason being, there's 8 billion of us. And in my whole life, I'm not sure say I don't see up to, not be say I'm not even sure. I certainly have not even shared space with up to 1% of all the people in the world. So I feel like as much as I may have experienced certain things, there's still a lot of limitations to how much I know about human experiences. And so I will not try to prescribe. I have ideas and what I think will benefit the majority of humans if those kind of lifestyles are implemented. They've not been implemented in, vastly human history as far as we know. And I feel like they will work, if the majority of people live that way. But I'll not prescribe exactly how to live. What I'll try to do is to just bring clarity to the options that are available to us and then allow people choose, right? I mentioned earlier that I have a sort of framework that I use for myself that has helped me with navigating relationships and my own personal challenges. With it love could do. If not love, this thing they happen to. Love is very broad. The more understanding that you get of love and what it really is, how selfless it can be, how selfish it can be, and how the selfishness and the selflessness sometimes they be one and the same. All that is the understanding of love with which I ask myself, what love could do for this guy's scenario, right? But that's my framework. What I could try to do in these conversations, not just to highlight, like I've said. So we have like two main options. One is to process your issues as they come up. What I like to do is, since the week is usually busy, what I like to do is make sure I don't carry any of my stresses. If something annoys me or someone annoys me, or I have a particular challenge with someone that I care about, any of my friendships or relationships, I try not to carry that over to the next week. So I try to hash it all out during the weekend. If it's inner work that I need to do to get my mind clear and straight, I try to do that in the weekend. So my mind is clear going into the new week because I have work to do, right? And I want to be in the right state of mind when I'm working. Yeah, so a lot of the time, I do a lot of those work during the weekends. So that will be option one, to process the things as they come. And then option two will be to, just push things to the side and allow them accumulate. Yeah. Obviously, eventually you become overwhelmed. But those are the two options. Like I mentioned earlier, there's 8 billion of us, so life is very relative. And that's why I'll leave the choosing to you, and I hope that you make the choice that helps you feel more at peace with yourself, more aligned with yourself, and real peace, not performative peace. The peace that does not need to say, I'm at peace, because it is perfectly satisfied in the experience of the peace itself. It doesn't need to announce it, it doesn't need to say, I am at peace. It's just living off the experience of it. I hope you find that. I hope you make the decision that gives you that. You get. My name is Osas, and I will see you for the next video.